Hello guys, it's Highland Manga here for the collection video, and just to start off, I just want to thank everyone who has been watching my videos so far. I've been absolutely enjoying it, and there's so many more awesome videos to come, so please stick around if you want. So as you can see, I've almost filled up these two bookshelves in my living room. I thought that would be a nice time just to do the collection video. As a bit of background to me, I've only actually been reading and collecting manga for about a year and a half now. But yeah, as you can see, I've jumped in the deep end with this hobby. It's completely changed my life for the better, of course. I'm so thankful that I just decided to start this hobby up. Yeah, that's one thing. If you've happened across this video and you haven't started reading manga yet, I would thoroughly recommend just having a quick skim, see which one sticks out the most to you, and trying the first volume out. There is no harm in trying, and it could be your next new passion. But without further ado, let's just get into it. This was a long one to edit, so I hope you guys enjoy. Let's do it! So first up we have the first series by Inu Asano that I checked out, and this is Goodnight Poon Poon. This just follows the life of a main character kind of through adolescence and through adulthood, and it's quite dark. You know, it comes with all the dark themes that a kind of normal life can bring and the challenges you can face in life. And yeah, I would thoroughly recommend this one if that seems like something you would enjoy. Next up we have All You Need Is Kill. This is just a 2-volume one-shot book which is based on a light novel, and there's also been a movie adaptation of it. The art is incredible from Obata, and I much prefer this manga adaptation to the movie. This is one of the first books I picked up just to see if manga was for me or not, with a completed story all in one book like this was really good. Next up we have JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in these lovely hardcovers. As you can see, I'm missing part 1, so I just watched the anime for that and then started collecting at part 2. And I actually didn't really like part 2 that much, but part 3 I've recently finished and it was absolutely incredible. It was so creative, so bizarre of course, just really great kind of action adventure series with a bit of comedy as well. And yeah, thoroughly enjoyed that part. Down below I have a little Junji Ito / horror section. First up we have the first book I read by Junji Ito, and that is Uzumaki. I have really fond memories reading this. It was when I was first getting into manga, and I just kind of read the whole thing in one sitting. It was really good. It's all centered around spirals. There's kind of short stories, but there is an overlying plot as well. I've recently picked up Tomi, so I'm yet to read that, but that one looks actually more interesting than Uzumaki is, and I can't wait to just sit through it one afternoon. Next up we have Frankenstein, which is basically half of the volume is dedicated to a Frankenstein kind of retelling, and then the second half contains maybe 6 or 7 short stories. I have only read the Frankenstein part and I really enjoyed it. I haven't got to the short stories yet, but still overall fantastic. I really like the Junji Ito hardcovers. They are just fantastic. Next up we have Dissolve and Classroom. This is a good one. This is quite a gory one, to be honest. I thought this was more disgusting to read than Uzumaki. It's about a creepy pair of siblings. Again, it's the same style, it's short stories, but there is an overlying theme to them all, and there is an overall kind of conclusion to the story. It's a good addition to the collection. I hope to complete it one day. Now, I don't really know if this one belongs here or not. I honestly think it could be my favourite Junji Ito work, even though it's not really what he actually does. If you are a cat lover / manga reader, then there's just no excuses why you don't have this in your collection. It's just the most enjoyable kind of short story, episodic tales. Definitely 100% recommend it if you like cats. But next up, back to horror, we have Ibitsu. Now, this is not by Junji Ito, but I'm going to come out and say that it is scarier than the Junji Ito stuff. Junji Ito's more creepy, whereas this is just I know you can't really have jump scares in like a book, but this is as close as you're going to get. Like, I think this is so cleverly drawn and written that when you turn the page, that's when you'd get a fright, a kind of a more creepy, kind of scary drawing. But yeah, I really like this one. I'm not sure if this mangaka has done anything else. If you know, please let me know. And next up we have another, which is a huge kind of collected full complete series here, a kind of creepy high school set horror one. I haven't read it yet, I just picked it up in my latest manga haul, so excited to get into that one day too. Next up we have the only completed Naoki Urasawa series in my collection, which is about a neurosurgeon and a serial killer, and it's just It's just a cat and mouse game that they have with each other throughout these whole 18 volumes. These perfect editions are fantastic. The story is incredible. I've read this series through twice now, and I would honestly, if you have only read it once, I would definitely recommend reading it again. The things that I missed the first time round, or the things that I don't know, appreciated more, or could see, little plants and little clues to things happening, just reading it through once you already know the story. I think I enjoyed it the second time around, to be honest. And now I'm going to try and get into more of his works. I have here volumes 1 to 4 of Pluto, which is an Astro Boy retelling. Looking forward to getting into this sci-fi one. There's only 8 volumes that's completed, so just as soon as I get them, I will get my way through this one. Planetess, we have the complete series. So happy to have this in physical form. I've always wanted to read this, and recently Dark Horse have reprinted the second omnibus, so I'm super happy to have it. It's essentially just about people picking up trash in space, but I saw space and I clicked buy. Moving down another shelf, we have Tokyo Ghoul volumes 1 to 14. This series, it had so much potential. The idea, the premise, these ghouls who are, and then this main character who has been turned into a ghoul, he's still kind of human, and everything was set up to be a fantastic series, and it definitely was, until maybe volume 7 or 8, and it kind of just dipped in quality for me a little bit. It's still a good part of my collection, and I will reread it at some point to give it another chance. But for me, it kind of left me unsatisfied, and it was kind of a slog to get through the last 2 volumes of this for me. Next up, we have Black Butler. I have volumes 1 to 7, which I've read, and then a couple other random volumes sprinkled in there. This series is on, volume 20 something, and it's still ongoing, and so I have a lot of backlog to catch up on, and it's yen press, so it's super expensive, so I am just trying to pick them up used as much as possible. That's why I have such random volumes there, but I really, really like this one. I've read 1 to 7, and it is so much better than the anime. Yep, there's demons set in Victoria, London, there's Sebastian, that's all you need to know. And so, yep, I really like this one. I can't wait to read the later parts. And next up, we have volumes 1 to 6 of Bakuman, and as you see, I don't own the box set. Because this was a series, I was like, I'm not sure about it, I'm going to test it out first. And I kept picking them up, even though it was a slog to get through them, if I'm honest. It is a nice insight into the manga industry, and it did make me appreciate manga a lot more. However, I won't be continuing with it just because I find it boring, and there is way more exciting, better series to read, in my opinion. Next up, we have volumes 1 to 7 of Everyone's Getting Married. This is a 9-volume completed series. It's a josei series, romance series, and actually one of the first romance I've ever dived into. I think it's very good for what it does. The art is incredible, the characters are really nice. I will be picking up the rest of the series just to see the story through, but I have realised that romance, especially set in the real world, just isn't for me. Like, the real world's boring. Like, I want to read manga because I want to go to a different, exciting world. It's just not my thing. Next up, something that is more of what I like is Ajin Demi-Human. This is a really good series. I really like this one. I've got volumes 1 to 12, which is up to date. I really like these covers. I love everything about this series. It is dark. It is an interesting premise. We have people who, when they die, they come back to life. And if you find out that you're a demi-human, you actually kind of need to go into hiding, because in this world you're just exploited if you're a demi-human. And so it follows our main character, who is one, and I really like this one. The art style is fantastic. It's dark, it is clever, it is full of a kind of mystery and suspense. The characters are very well written and interesting, and I wish it was all out, really. I just wish I could read the end. But yeah, moving on now to Battle Royale, again a series that I've just recently picked up, and I'm so happy I've got my hands on a physical release of it. This is by Tokyo Pop, so it's quite difficult to find. I read the first volume digitally, and I actually picked up the second volume just in a charity shop, and from what I read, this is going to be an absolutely awesome survival story. We're going to have all the main characters dying off. It's going to be an epic battle to the end. I don't know what's going to happen, and this one is another one super high up on my to read list. Next up we have a kind of wee selection of shorter series here. So first up we have Wonderland Volumes 1 and 2, which is a really good kind of horror series. It kind of reminds me of like Zombieland. Basically everyone's shrunk down to the size like smaller than your phone, and just the dangers that you face when you're being that size. There's something very creepy going on, and I've really enjoyed the first 2 volumes. Next up we have Giant Spider and Me, a post-apocalyptic tale. This one I need to get volumes 2 and 3 of. It is a very short 3-volume completed series, and the first volume was really good. If you've seen my manga on pets, I think this one ranked pretty high. It was just so enjoyable to read. It was just light-hearted, it was lovely, but there was also this dark underlying story as well. They mixed the 2 things really well, so can't wait to finish this series off. Next up we have Dragon Goes House Hunting, an absolute just impulse buy here. Actually really nice story just about a dragon who's like kind of really shy and sensitive, and he's been kicked out of his dragon family, and now he's on the hunt to find a house for himself. It's silly, it's relaxing, it's a good time. Next up we have Ghost in the Shell, the standalone complex volume 1. I haven't read the original Ghost in the Shell. I guess by the title you don't need to have read that first. But if it was better to read The Ghost in the Shell first, then I don't know, let me know in the comments what you think, if I should just dive into this one straight away, or if I should check the original one out. Next up we have The God's Lie, a one-shot story about 2 kids in their summer holidays. Haven't read it yet, I've heard very good things and can't wait to read this. Next up we have 5 centimeters per second. This is a shoujo kind of high school romance, wasn't really my thing. One story by the same mangaka is She and Her Cat. It follows the main character and just her kind of going through some tough times, and her little cat is always by her side. I'd recommend this one over the 5 centimeters per second personally. Moving down to Vinland Saga, we have the first 4 omnibuses here. I think there are 10 omnibuses out now. I haven't read these yet. This is one I'm very interested to see if I like. I'm not sure about it. A kind of historical fiction series set in Viking times. I've heard the kind of character progressions and stuff in this series is what makes it extra special, so I mean I'm sure I will enjoy it. I just haven't got there yet. Definitely in the near future though. Next up we have Children of the Whales, volume 1 to 9. That is up to date with this new release, the 6 series. I really like this series. It's actually a fantasy shoujo series, and this is the kind of shoujo I'm going to like, I think. Set in a different land, there's dark action bits to it, along with really pretty and incredible art. Next up I have volumes 1 and 2 of Dead Demons the Destruction by Inu Asano, and this one I haven't read yet, but this one is a kind of slice of life meets alien invasion story from what I know. I think I will definitely enjoy this one more than Goodnight Pun Pun perhaps, who knows. Another one I haven't gotten round to yet is Golden Kamuy volumes 1, another ongoing series. I think we're up at volume 10 or 11 now. So one older series that I'm trying to complete just now is Ikigami, The Ultimate Limit. I really liked what I've read so far. This is about Japan, but it's imposed this National Welfare Act where random, young adults are getting killed to try and make the whole country kind of appreciate life more. It's kind of an interesting thriller, psychological manga here. Next up I have To Your Eternity, 1, 2, 5 and 6. I keep trying to get 3 and 4, but it keeps being out of stock at Forbidden Planet. Another one I absolutely loved the first volume for. I think this one is going to be my favourite of this mangaka's works, either this one or A Silent Voice. It's very just mystical and magical, and can't wait to catch up on it. Yoshiki, volume 1 by the creator of Gantz, a sci-fi series I have not gotten round to yet. Chai's Sweet Home, my favourite pet manga series. If you're a cat lover, you need this one in your collection. It is absolutely adorable. It's actually in full colour, this one as well. We have Barakamon volume 1, a slice of life ongoing series. Next up I have Happiness 2 and 4. I picked these up at a really good price used. I do plan to collect this whole series eventually. I really enjoyed this creator's other work, The Flowers of Evil. I know Happiness is about vampires and it's also just as fucked up, so yep, I think I'll enjoy it. Can't wait to get it all. Stargazing Dog, not nice actually, very sad story about a dog and his owner. I'd skip the physical release on this one and just read it digitally. The physical release is flipped and it's too big, it sticks out. Complex Age, a josei series about cosplaying. I probably won't pick up any more of this one. Wotakoi, Love is Hard for Otaku, another josei series. This is like an office rom-com. This one actually I do enjoy, even though it's just set in the real world. I think the characters are really relatable in this because they're all nerds, so this one I will be picking up the rest of. Definitely recommend this one for a rom-com. Moving on to the second shelf now, and let's start things off with Assassination Classroom. It will always have a special place in my collection. It is the first full series I ever picked up. I was just in Waterstones one day, I was drawn in by the covers and I thought, hey, maybe it might be cool to start collecting manga, and I'm so glad I did. This series follows a classroom who then gets an alien as a teacher, and it's their job to assassinate this alien. We're told that he has plans to destroy the earth, and so he must be assassinated. And the story just goes throughout. It is from volume 16 onwards a fantastic twist and a fantastic end to the series. Just all round, overall, very good series. I love the characters, there are a lot of laughs throughout the way, and this would definitely be a series I would recommend to newcomers. Next up is the Death Note All-in-One edition. This is a really nice release actually for being 12 volumes in one book. It's not really practical, but I think it's really cool. It's a very text heavy manga, so it took a long time to read. I would definitely recommend the anime for this though. I think this series was very important in terms of creativity and, you know, just an innovative idea for battle shonen not always being physical. Next up I have the box set for A Silent Voice. This is a very important manga series. It's actually about a guy who bullies a girl and then goes on to get bullied himself. It's a manga which is serious, it is sad, and there are lessons to be learned from this series. Saying that, to me it's not a personal favourite of mine. I just can't really get into kind of high school stories for some reason. Still important, but not really a favourite of mine. Next up we have Parasite, and this is an iconic series. I think it's from the 80s or something. It is a seinen horror series about these parasites, these aliens that come to the earth and start trying to take over the human population. There's psychological elements, there's even some romance, and I actually really like the main character and the parasite that starts trying to invade him. It's very clever, it's very well done. The art style is a little bit dated, but I would definitely recommend this to anyone who likes seinen manga. Next up we have Toriko, which is actually one of my favourite battle shonens. This follows this guy who is in this gourmet world. His job, I guess, is to go out and source the best gourmet foods. So there's all these kind of mythical monsters and things that he fights. But he doesn't just fight them, the fights are really clever, and there's always a kind of reason to why someone has won the fight or not. It's never just like, oh, a magic power up, or oh, the power of friendship. It's actually quite well done. I really like the characters. There's absolutely no fan service in this series whatsoever. It is just pure story. I have volumes 1 to 18, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I'm collecting the rest of it just when I see it. I'm actually getting it second hand because I don't really respect the author, however I do really like this story. Next up we have Attack on Titan. Now this is an incredible series. I really enjoy this more than the anime for it. I much prefer to just take the series at my own pace and figure out exactly what is going on in this. The battles are a bit hard to follow at some times, and you can zoom through some of these volumes in like 15 minutes because there's not a lot of text. However, I do think that this is the best way to enjoy this story. I really like the characters, I like the mystery aspect of this series. This story of course follows these titans which are attacking this civilization. And there's just so much to this story, there's so much depth to it. There's action, there is mystery, there's politics within the civilization and the history of it and things. It's just very clever. I really like it, and I'm actually not up to date. I have volumes 1 to 23. I believe there's 27 volumes out so far, and I've heard it's on set to finish up soon as well, so it's definitely up in my priorities. I can't wait to see how it ends. Yeah, looking forward to that one. Next up, I have volumes 1 to 8 of Cage of Eden. This is actually completed. There are 23 volumes in total. This is about a group of high school students who are on a plane crash, and then they land on a desert island with kind of prehistoric beasts. There's kind of supernatural stuff going on, very similar to the TV programme Lost. However, it was just nowhere near as good as that. The characters I wasn't really invested in. I found the story to be quite confusing as well, and also it's just chock full of fan service. Like, I may revisit it and give it another chance, but for now I'm stopping at volume 8. And down to this shelf we have Arakawa Under the Bridge. This is just volume 1, which I haven't read yet. This is a seinen rom-com from what I hear. It's completed in Japan and we're getting the English omnibus releases. So I'm just going to be patient and wait on all these coming out before I start getting into this series. And next to that I have volumes 1 to 8 of Overlord. I believe maybe volumes 9 or 10 are out just now, so just a little bit behind. I really enjoy this series. This is an isekai where a kind of normal guy is playing a game and he then gets transported into this game, and he's actually like the overlord. He's actually, you know, in charge of this small kingdom, so that's quite interesting to see how he develops. And it's a fantastic land that he goes to as well. There are a lot of cool characters. It's based on a light novel, and I'm going with a manga adaptation just because that's what I would prefer. And next to that is of course One Piece. Now this is the most popular manga series to ever be released, and you know, I can see why. It's just fantastic. It actually took a wee bit for me to get into, maybe about volume 10 or 11 I started actually really enjoying it. The characters are of course what make this series, and it's really nice and fun to see the adventures that they have. Sometimes I find it a bit childish just with the kind of power-ups and the way that they win the fights, but overall still enjoyable, and hopefully one day I will have a completed One Piece collection. But I just have up to volume 23 so far, and I remember being quite emotional at the end of 23, to be honest. And down to the bottom shelf now I have volumes 1 and 2 of Nana. This is a josei series which follows two people called Nana, and it's just kind of emotional and just about their relationship. I also have volumes 1 to 3 of Skip Beat. This is a really hilarious shoujo series, just kind of girl power vibes, standing up for yourself, and yep, the art style in this I just really find hilarious. And last but most certainly not least is Full Metal Alchemist. Now this is the first manga box set I got. This one is also one of the early series that I started reading. It's just so solid. I can't think of any flaws this series has. It's just very well rounded and very enjoyable. It has a bit of everything in it. It's one I'll probably always keep in my collection, and I will always go back to. I think I'll always gain something just from rereading it. And maybe one day, if I'm rich and I have the money, I will trade these in for the upgraded Full Metal editions. But for now, I'm quite happy with the singles. So yeah, I'll end this by saying it's probably my favourite shonen, and with that, I'll wrap up this video. Thank you all so much for watching. It was so much fun to share this with you, and I really do appreciate everyone who's subscribed and commented on my videos so far. It means the world. Just one final thing here, and if you've enjoyed the background music for this video, that was actually the instrumental of a band called INFERIEM's brand new EP. They are my friends from Glasgow. They're doing some really cool stuff. They're playing their first festival this summer, and yeah, they've just released their new EP and it's on Spotify. Links are down below. You should definitely check them out, and thanks to them so much for letting me use their songs. Till next time, bye!